Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Ford Bronco. This is the Heritage Limited Edition. Huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this SUV for me today. They're always getting in some very cool inventory. That link is down in the description. So this Bronco is finished off in Robin's Egg Blue. MSRP start right around $70,000. And this is powered by the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6. That's paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission. This pumps out almost 330 horsepower, 415 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 5,300-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. It has a top speed of 130 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 20.8 gallons. You'll expect to see around 18 miles per gallon in the city, 20 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 116.1 inches. Its overall length is 189.4. It has a width of 86.2, a height of 73. Its ground clearance measures in at 11.7 inches, and it also has an approach angle of 35.5 degrees, a breakover angle of 20 degrees. Its departure angle is 29.7, and it can also ford through 33.5 inches of water. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Heritage Limited Edition, you will notice we have a really cool color combo going on for this particular model. Now up front, the Ford logo is finished off in red with a forward-facing camera right in the middle, and then we have the giant white grille giving it a really cool contrast. There's also plenty of cutouts and active grille shutters in there to provide cooling when needed. Now this also has the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, along with the LED fog lights, which are located in that steel bumper. Now this also has all the parking sensors, as well as the sensor for the adaptive cruise, and there's even more grille shutters, as well as the steel skid plate up underneath to give you that added protection. And then up top for the hood, we do have these accessory points. So you have one mounted there, you also have one up top, where you can see at the moment we have the roof racks installed. And then there's some really nice lines in the base of that hood there, just to give it a really nice design. And like I mentioned earlier, with its approach angle, not only can you see pretty much the entire front of the tire, but you have a very good approach angle, and then you can also get a peek at that suspension for this. Now this is also equipped with the Sasquatch package, so that gives it these massive 35-inch tires. This also has a set of 17-inch wheels with the dog dish style with the white walls. So that is unique to this Heritage Edition, or the Limited Edition. There is a regular Heritage model that has a solid white wheel. Now there's also the Bronco letters spelled out underneath that, some white accents that run through that line just above it. This also has a camera and a turn signal on the side mirrors. And then for this particular model, we have the 4-piece hardtop roof, which is finished off in white, which is a great accent. Now this also has fixed running boards and then the massive fender arches. So they stick out a good bit, especially with those 35-inch tires there. And then in back, this has the full-size spare with the backup camera. There's also a set of LED taillights. We have the steel rear bumper, all of the parking sensors, and then this is equipped to tow right around 3,500 pounds. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, you can easily swing that open, even with that full-size spare, and then open up the glass from there. Now, in back, you have a normal amount of cargo space. There's also a little bit underneath the floor. There's a drain plug down there, so you could throw in some wet items. You have a little bit of storage on the driver's side, and you can fold the back seats down. So with them folded down, that gives you a lot more interior space, of course, making this that much more practical. We have a dome light as well as a 12-volt. And on the Heritage and the Heritage Limited Edition, you can actually remove this bolt here and take the side windows for the cargo space out. On most of the Broncos, that is fixed. So if you want to leave the back of the hardtop and you just want to remove this panel, it is that easy just to remove those two bolts. And then of course you can close that up, and you can also lock it with that door handle too. Now as we work our way to the interior, door panel is very nice. We have the brown leather along with some brushed accents. There's more of the red accents on that storage net there. And then we have a really cool design running down the insert for these leather seats. Now we have the running boards and the grab handle, so it makes it easy to get into this. You'll notice too, we have this design in the back of the door, so you can put some attachments. There's also storage nets. We have the window adjustments and some auxiliaries down below too. And at my height, 5'10", I have plenty of headroom. We also have that insulation liner for this hardtop just to make it a little bit quieter while you are driving this. There's also the armrest with 2 cup holders, and then these seats do recline slightly. It just gives you a little bit more comfort, but it's a nice place to be for this style SUV. I don't have any complaints with that. And then up front, you get lock and unlock, a little bit more storage. All of the doors on the Broncos are removable, of course, so we have the electronics, and then you have 2 bolts that you can easily remove to take these off. Now, the Heritage Limited Edition also comes with power front seats. So those controls are down on the side there. We do get a grab handle with more of the red accents. And then this also has a solid leather steering wheel. We have some more of the brushed accents. You have your cruise, adaptive cruise, lane keeping assist on the left side along with volume. Right side, you have Bluetooth and tuning, and then some controls for the gauge cluster. So let's fire this up. And we can go over all of this information. Left side, you have engine temperature along with miles per hour. And then within the digital gauge cluster itself, you can actually go into a lot of settings. So my view is what you just saw. All of this information on that right side, you can customize this depending on the shortcuts basically you want to see and what you want to have there. If you go back into the menu now, you can go into your trip information. You can also go to the off-road, so you can monitor all of this information here. You have navigation, phone, there's also audio and settings. So it's pretty configurable with what you can view right in the middle there. And then over on the left side, we have the headlight adjustments. There's also spotlights on the side mirrors. We have dimmer switches. There's also the e-brake. You have your hood release. 1 air vent tucked away in the back there. And then this model also has 2-tone for the dash. So we have this more tan color and then white for the entire section in front. Now, you can also place some items up front. You can charge some items if needed. And then we have some really cool off-road features. We have the sway bar disconnect, front and rear lockers, trail turn assist, traction control, and hazards. So you have the technology that you need to take this off the pavement. Now, with this massive screen in the middle, you have a lot more tech features that you can go through. You have your audio and phone. You can get into your navigation. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, various settings that you can go into to configure, and then a few features like zone lighting and towing that you can look at. Now on the far right, you have the split style. So you can pull up information on both screens and have that split style depending on what you would like to see for the day. And then you'll notice over on the passenger side, more red accents for Bronco within that airbag cover, which is a cool accent. Now underneath that, there's power and volume as well as tuning. We have parking sensors. You can also pull up the camera system very quickly just by pushing on that button. We have the engine start stop as well as tuning. And then all the climate controls are laid out very nicely. With your temperature dials, this has heated seats, heated steering wheel, fan speed, and the rest of those controls. Now there's also wireless charging along with an auxiliary there. Little plaque with the Ford logo. There's 2 cup holders. And then if we put this into reverse, we can pull up that camera system again, where you can actually look at your rear there. If I put the vehicle into drive and push on that camera system, now we can pull up the forward-facing camera. So you have a lot of visibility for this entire vehicle. You can also shift by going into M and using plus and minus. So if you're off-road or you're towing, you can use that as needed. We have a grab handle for your passenger. And then we even have all of the 4-wheel drive controls as well as basically your cruise control for off-road and the GOAT modes. So if we go through, goes over all terrain, all of those modes, you have normal and eco along with slippery. There's mud and ruts. You have sand. There's also Baja and rock crawl. And the vehicle will automatically go into the certain 4-wheel drive settings depending on the mode that you are in. Or of course, you can go through those and set them up as needed. Now you have all of your window adjustments along with your side mirror controls, a locking center armrest that has a good bit of space. You also have a locking glove box. And then up top, we have all of these factory auxiliary switches. So you can hook up lights, compressors, anything that you have. There's the dome lights too. And then for this hardtop, I won't be taking it off today, but I'll have videos down below showing you this. We have 4 connection points for each panel up front. You have to take the driver's side off, then the passenger side. From there, you can actually remove the rear passenger, and then you can remove the rear cargo space. So you have 4 panels here, very easy to remove. Last one's a little bit hard, which is why you can take those windows out. But then as far as visibility goes, it is so open with the squared off design that this has. Visibility is very easy to see. As we set up now behind the wheel for the Ford Bronco, ironically, we actually have a press Bronco for the week. So this is like my Bronco double week, getting behind the wheel of another Bronco. I really like the Bronco. We've had several in the past. I've been able to put a lot of miles on them when you combine all of the Broncos that we've had, the driving off-road, on-road. This is a really cool SUV, and it's one that, coming from a Jeep Wrangler, I'm excited to own one day and really see what it's like to own, even though I have a lot of experience with it. So for this Heritage Limited Edition, this is basically the top trim level, aside from the Raptor, of course, where we have a lot more, I'd say, luxury style creature comforts. We have the leather seats, we have wireless charging, we have the power operated seats. There's a few other goodies here and there that definitely set this apart from the Heritage as well, which is another edition that you can get. There's a pretty big price difference between them. So really, if you can do without the power seats or maybe the different materials in the leather, or you want the sway bar disconnect, there's so many different options that you can get with the Bronco. 4-door, 2-door, 3 different engines. There's so much, it can almost be overwhelming, but you can spec the Bronco to your liking and just have a really cool off-road style vehicle. Now, as far as driving this goes, with the almost thousands of miles I've put on them so far, it's a really comfortable place to be. There's wind noise, which is to be expected. We have some insulation to help, but it's fun. I've taken the panels off, I've taken the doors off. It's just so enjoyable to drive this. It's almost like that Jeep life. You have the Bronco life now with being able to do all of that. And I like how it sits too. You're very high up. We have the steeply raked windshield. You have a lot of visibility too, which is great. And I really don't have any complaints with this in general. And now we can start from second gear and give it some gas. And the plus and minus isn't all that responsive. It's really for holding a gear, towing, or if you're off the pavement. But with the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, we're up to speed. You can get a smaller engine, you can get a larger engine too, so we're right in the middle as far as power goes. And it's pretty peppy. Even the 2.3 liter, which is the Bronco I'm driving for the week, it's not all that bad. It's pretty healthy for this. But it's such a nice place to be. We have that off-road tuned suspension too, which honestly, it rides great on-road. And the fact that we have the best of both worlds between the on-road performance and the off-road performance. We have the independent front suspension, so it drives so much smoother than a Wrangler because it has the solid front axle. And we have the sway bar disconnect, which gives you a lot more articulation. So this can hang on some pretty gnarly trails, even without having that solid front axle. But regardless, it gives you that on-road performance while still retaining off-road performance too. And with a mild acceleration, here we go. And just like that, we're up to speed with like an 1/8 of throttle input. So obviously this can get up much quicker than today. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel of the limited Heritage Edition. We also have the Bang & Olufsen sound system too. Surprisingly, with the doors off, you can actually hear the audio very well. So for up front, we have the 2 in the dash there. There's no speakers on any of the doors. Since obviously you take the doors off, you can't bring the speakers with you if they're in the doors. But we have 2 that are just behind the headrests of the rear passengers, and then there's a few others, I believe. But with the doors off, you can still get a good sound. So honestly, Ford did a great job at still providing you the tunes with the capability of taking the doors off. But we also have the really cool Heritage accents and colors. So we have the white and the red. A little bit of a color mix going on for this model with the blue, the white, the red, the tan, the white. It's a lot, but that's the point of it for this Heritage model. Ford Bronco in general is a fun SUV. This is a fun vehicle to take the roof off. It's a fun vehicle to take the doors off. It's a fun vehicle just in general, giving you that open experience like the Wrangler, of course. It's something too that is daily driver friendly. So I don't have any complaints with how it drives. It's not like a luxury focused SUV. So it's not going to be the most refined feeling or the quietest, but that's to expect if you want that additional fun factor and you want something that you can take off-road. This thing is so amazing off-road, as is with the Sasquatch package alone, which we've been able to take off the pavement. You can drive it straight from the lot to the trails and just have a ball with it. You really don't have to do much to it, depending on the options that you get, to make this capable in the factory form. And I think that's what's awesome about it. So you have the best of both worlds, but it's just a fun SUV in general. That's going to wrap it up though for the Ford Bronco Heritage Limited Edition. Once again, a huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct. Check out their website. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.